All right, so what
Yeah.
are we talking about? Hello, everybody. What are we talking about?
What we normally on our vlogs, we talk about what we do at the space and on our show, Making It Up, which is live right now on twitch.tv/Making It Up.
It's not live right now.
Normally we do that.
Normally we do that, but we accomplished very little this past 2 weeks for...
There was not a lot of time to accomplish things the past couple weeks.
That's what I mean, though, right? We had reasons not a lot happened. It was just one of those two... Oh, I'm not wearing my hat. It's just one of those 2 week periods where, for one reason or another, we were not able to be in the shop as much as we normally are.
In no small part because we all went to go see Avengers Endgame. And as you can imagine, we needed to take some time.
For those of you who haven't seen the movie, we're not going to talk about it. And for those of you who have, you understand. It's Saturday and I'm still... But anyways.
So if we're not going to talk about what we did the past couple weeks, what should we do?
So, the Red Human had a great idea. And that is, we should do a shop tour. We actually had a whole 2 week period in one of these videos where we built a mezzanine. I hate that word.
Storage loft.
We built a storage loft in our shop space, and the shop has changed and it's almost at its final form. So we thought we'd do a shop tour. Plus, YouTube loves that shit. This is the third iteration of our shop. We got a shop about 3 years ago, and we started less than a mile that way. And we actually met in a makerspace that's local to Atlanta, but we outgrew that space. So we found a shop of our own, and that's really when Making It Up got its start, because we could then do whatever we want in our space, including filming us acting like idiots. And so this right now is the evolution of all of those times, and this, to be honest, feels more like home than any shop I think we've ever been in before.
Behold.
Yeah.
My stuff.
First and foremost, the most important single shop place in our shop is where we store our beer. Drinking the beer of gods. So this is our electronics table. We call it the E-table. We got donated some laminate and we used that as the countertop surface. We needed something to be really easy to clean off, but also not be affected as much by both heat and electricity. It's not really grounded, but it's good enough. It's wood.
Yeah. You guys saw this in the documentary. This is where Elliot did all the soldering for the Combine radios. All this was done at the old table. Right now, it's currently housing the vinyl cutter because we need to build a table for that, and this was the largest open space for it. So the vinyl cutter is eating up most of the real estate here right now, but this will go back to electronics before too long.
We are going to build a stand specifically for this that will also have a rail on it that we can use to hold the vinyl that's going to go through this, so that this has a place to live at, and it's going to be somewhere else in the shop.
So this is the 3D printing station. This is where all of our 3D printers are at. Some of them are active currently. This is Jeff's most recent printer. It is a Tevo Tornado. These parts on here are some things he wants to upgrade on it. These are our Folgertech 2020 i3s. They are Prusa i3 clones. And then down here is the workhorses of the space, the two Lulzbot Taz 6s. I've had this one for a number of years. I picked this one up recently, and these two put out most of what we 3D print here. And then underneath we have storage for our filament and some soon-to-be-built 3D printer stuff.
Yeah, that's about all I got. This is everybody's favorite station because it's 3D printers and it's new technology and it's really cool and everything. And that sound is one of my favorite sounds of all time. So this is our miter saw station. This is one of the newest additions to the shop. We didn't get this until we came into this particular shop. Both of these tables used to be this long, 8 foot long, and I cut this one down so that we could have this miter station fit in and we could really start to do some woodworking projects that we've been unable to do. We've borrowed other people's chop saws for a long time, and I was gifted this one. It's a hand-me-down from my dad, my parents are a huge supporter of what we do here. So yeah, this is custom built. I built this out of scrap wood. I broke this down and built the rest of it out of scrap wood, and it hasn't seen as much use as we would like yet, but when it's useful, it is absolutely pivotal. We wouldn't have been able to make any of the upcoming storage loft without it. So this is a tool cart. This is the Izzy Swan tool cart. He did the design for this. Jeff really spearheaded this project, and I helped Jeff a little bit, but this is a flipping cart over here that has a jigsaw on one side and
Scroll saw.
it has a scroll saw on one side and has a
Grinder.
grinder on the other. I forgot which was on the other. And then over here, you can probably barely see it, and don't look too closely because it's covered in dust right now, but we've got a little mini machinist lathe that we need to put some love in and some time and some money into before we start machining actual parts. So this is our scrap bin. I would say this is one of the things we fight about the most. We got rid of a lot of it when we moved over to this shop last, but I kind of pack rat a whole bunch of wood. And as we come over here, this is our Shopsmith. We got this from a friend of a friend who became just a friend, and I took this whole thing apart, I cleaned it, I oiled everything, so this thing works like a dream. We just don't use it as much as we have in the past because we haven't been able to have a real woodworking section until now.
And part of the reason we haven't used it is that we've been buying the tools that it does that are better standalone.
Right.
That's the thing with any multi-tool, is that it does a lot of things, but none of them really phenomenally. Like the table saw on it, I would not want to use, which is why I got this table saw. So this is the table extension that Elliot has been building. It's gonna go right here when it's finished, but this is the table saw itself.
And it is an old and beautiful machine.
Yeah, I'm really happy with acquiring this. A friend of ours was gonna get rid of it. She wanted to see it go to a home where it would get used, and it certainly has and will.
Yep. This is kind of one of our final steps in having what could be considered a real woodworking place in the shop. We have the chop saw, we have plenty of wood, we've got a bandsaw, we've got a table saw, we have a jointer. The only thing we're really missing is a planer, and you don't strictly need one of those. So the next year is the next 365 days, I'm gonna be, by the end of it, I wanna be pretty proficient at making woodworking projects.
So you can see here the completed storage loft. You saw the in-progress build on one of our last vlogs, but here it is with all of our stuff on top of it. Having this has been really invaluable. You can imagine how cluttered and difficult it was to work in the space when everything that was up there was down here. And then over on by our door on our back wall, you can see the station where the Red Human directs us on our Twitch show. And
on these videos too. Right now, this is the audio audio board that you're hearing us speak through from our lav mics, and this computer is currently recording, and so this is where the actual magic that you see happens.
And then this is our main work table. This is where we spend the majority of our working time here in the space, and it is the first thing we ever made.
This is the thing that we made with borrowed and rented tools, and this is the first thing we had to make because before we made this table, we had nothing to work at. We did not plan ahead to having this shop. We just got a shop and then figured it the fuck out. We made it all up.
Because we have no clue, and so can you.
That. Yeah, so I designed these in CAD and we threw them together, like I said, out of using a rented circular saw and a couple of tools that we borrowed, and we had nothing when we started other than a hope and a dream.
And you can too.
And we've made everything that you just seen. We either made or acquired or whatever in our goals to reach a fully functioning shop, which I think we finally have. That's why I think this one feels the most like home. This one feels the most real, is because we'll always be able to think of things that it would be nice to have, but I have trouble thinking of something that we could make that we just can't make because we don't have the things to do.
Yeah, I can't think of anything I've wanted to make that I didn't have the tool or the space for. And that's a great feeling when 3 years ago I had nothing.
Yeah, we got here with the support of many, many people, and we got here with our own astronomical amount of work, but it has all 100% been worth it. So, yeah. So that'll be a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. So we can talk a little bit about what we actually accomplished this week. And what I did is more work on the Widow's Kiss. I finally got some parts under filler primer, and they are looking very, very, very close to being done.
Yeah, I was doing stuff that's not really exciting to show off. As we mentioned previously, the X-Carve is set up and ready to go. So I was doing the computer install for that and helping it physically get put into place. The guy who owns it has done a little bit on it, but so I set up the computer for that. I was also doing some 3D modeling work that isn't exciting to show off. I was doing some 3D modeling work for the Doom Guy armor for the Red Human. We have MomoCon coming up in about a month, so I'm finishing up all of that stuff. I also did more work on the Super Shotgun, and that's just about ready for paint pretty much. So I was working on a couple other parts for the Starship Troopers Merida. There's some details that on my side of it that are getting done. Part of the barrel flash hider stuff. I'm using some real steel parts on it, but I needed to 3D print some parts to make it join onto the weapon itself. So I printed that and cleaned that up, and that was very simple to do. I know that Jeff has been doing some upgrades to his Folger Tech. He is upgrading the hot end to an E3D, so I helped him 3D print some mounts for it, and he's going to be installing that. But yeah, after the previous, the week where we filmed the previous vlog where we had those NDA commissions, I needed a little bit of a break and some time away from the shop, so a slightly less productive time than usual for us, but sometimes you need a little break.
Yeah.
For as hard as we go.
That's the truth.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Yeah, well, we're definitely gonna be up to some more projects. You can always check out what we're working on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/makingitup. We're live right now.
Sometimes. Sometimes we're always live.
Exactly.
I will concede that small bit. The only thing I'd like to add is that I am Elliot, this is Michelle, and behind the camera, as always, we have the Red Human, and we're just making it up.